Yeah, right. What's going on, everybody, folks? Got a huge show here today. Very controversial. We're going to talk about Meghan Markle, the operative known as the Dark Markle, and her doting, loving, allegedly husband, Prince Harry, aka Ginger Sizzle Nuts. The operatives known as Flamingo Divot Butts and Ginger Sizzle Nuts. Now, let's cover this right off the bat, okay? First of all, in June, all right? So, well, let me rewind. They have a new PR team. I don't know how many of them are left. I mean, they seem to have a very revolving door policy. However, their new team, if you remember, if you want to go through all the players, one of them worked for Bill Gates, one of them worked for the Obamas, Segway, Emma Grande, or Grenadine, or Greedy. Right after the Meghan Markle podcast, her next guest was Michelle Obama, okay? Kind of odd, right? Right after the Meghan the Markle, you get the Michelle the Obama, okay? Keep that in mind. Put a pin in that. So this new team is financial tech people, Silicon Valley people, Bill Gates. Bill Gates, really not a celebrity. The Obamas, more political. And the other people, I can't even remember if they stayed on or cut off or whatever they did. Anyways, my point is this. Nothing allegedly that I could find says that they have any experience knowing how to deal with any type of celebrity couples. So, the other thing is weird is there was reports allegedly that this was the shock and awe team. They're responsible for Shiesty Meisty releasing like the baby mama dance and all this other jazz and all of these, because Meghan, she's been on a rampage in June. They were doing everything. Let's take a gander here at her Instagram page, which she loves. The lifeblood is a microphone and an Instagram account. It is amazing how powerful the Instagram account is. And now, let's also rewind, folks. When she married into the royal family, the institution silenced her. When she was on Oprah, she finally got her voice back. Again, she references, I believe, on Jamie Kern-Lima and on Emma Grenadine, that she has now got her voice back. I don't know how many times she has said she's gotten her voice back. She's gotten her voice back only to have it taken away yet again. Can you believe the odds of having your voice, being a champion for having a voice? Everybody needs a seat at the table, and then everybody has taken her voice and her seat at the table away from her. I mean, the victimhood is just astronomical. But let me just show you. So this was just basically in June, I believe, right? We're in here. Okay, so let's just gander. We got the lone Archibald, right, with his own casa. I mean, no offense, 6 years old, he gets his own place in Mexico. That's not too shabby, right? Sure, he's got to be alone, but that's all right. Got a housekeeper. That's all he needs. So what's the difference? What's the difference? His mom's reading him stories on the phone. He can just put that on at night and listen to her reading a thin book. The dumbest shit you've ever heard in your life. Anyways, oh please, because I don't know how to read big words. The cat and the hat and I can't do it, Archibald. I can't do it. Listen, so we have this fake photo, right, where they're walking into the Valley of Nothing. This whole video, right, she did the Beyonce thing. She did this, which doesn't even look like her, but okay, they're at the James Taylor, the 7-year itch, little Betty and her cosplaying like they're doing something in a beekeeper thing. Meanwhile, this beekeeper thing is just like a little shitbox setup in the middle of nowhere. Who knows, right? She's cutting pineapple. This is a cutout of the Netflix show. They're on the boat. This is H and the baby trying to figure out which one is smarter, and I believe the baby won the argument hands down. That's alleged. Okay, then we get to the baby mama thing, right? This was the biggest video, the most watched thing that she has ever done. I would put this up against their entire documentary. I think this did bigger numbers than their entire documentary. That's what I believe alleged. She did this whole thing. We went to Disney let me ask you this too. Isn't it odd that a couple that is, has this kind of status and all this other stuff, wouldn't they have gone to Disneyland already, especially having two little people that they're so in love with and all this other stuff? But this is the first time they went. Yeah, it's a 2-hour drive. Keep that in mind. Meanwhile, they got no problem going to, the L.A. and eating and joining that club or whatever, going to that thing. I can't remember, the bungalows and all that. And then we had the Father Day fake thing and this whole thing. And then she did the letter writing where she was faking the letter in. But here's where it stopped. Okay, and here's where the new team comes in, and they don't know what to do because I don't think they have experience with what's going on. Because how can you have her constantly going on Instagram? You know what I mean? Just think about this. She just released the other jam or the apricot thing and all this other bullshit. And right after the sellout, she comes on. She goes, "Oh my God, guys, I can't. Oh my God, you guys, you're buying all this bullshit. I mean, yes, I don't have that much of it, but yet you're buying all of the bullshit." By the way, there's a whole thing about all of the reasoning behind all of this, which I'm going to discuss in another video, okay? But let me I need to do this so you guys have a gander on what's going on here and how she's being silent. Now, Oprah would say, were you silenced? Were you being silent or were you being silenced? And she does the bird finger hand thing. You know what I mean? That's a Harpo. She should trademark that. That's a good move for her. By the way, she looked great at the Jeff Bezos wedding. You see those photos? Woofa, woofa, woofa. I have a photo on there. I'm almost afraid to put up. I'm almost afraid to put up. Anyways, check her out waving on one of those boats. By the way, who are all these assholes waving to? The people didn't want anybody. Who are they waving to? It's like they're fake. It's all fake. That whole wedding was a shit. That whole thing was a joke. Don't get me going. I gotta stay focused. Anyways. So this was on the 23rd, right? Okay, so this is the 23rd. So now this has been 10 days, and this was 5 days ago. But here's where they shut her up, okay? They're like, look, I told you she was off the reservation, and her handlers are saying, look, bitch, your ass is off the reservation. We got to reel you in. Okay, because this is unnatural for the shiesty. You can't take away her voice. This lady lives for Instagram and a microphone, folks. And now you're taking away her voice for the 27th time in the last, 5 years? This is unbelievable. How many times can a woman who has such a big, nasty voice have her voice taken away from her? It's unbelievable. Right? Only an operative would let somebody take the reins like this. But how long can this last? How long can they keep control of Rachel? You can't keep a Mike and Rachel off the gram. It's almost damn near impossible. Let's get into this. So they post this stupid photo, right? Now, it looks fake as shit. Everybody knows that, right? It looks like it's superimposed. First of all, she's in a walking position. There's no prints or no footprints in the sand. There's a big long streak here. Okay. Her shadow is a gnome. Okay. This looks like a garden gnome. Now, the other theory could be this, allegedly. If she is a lizard person, all right, in a skin suit, this might be what their actual real shadow looks like. This could be like the movie John Carpenter's They Live. This could be what the difference is by taking the sunglasses off and putting them on. And then you're seeing the truth, which is she has the shadow of a garden gnome, right? Also, who walks with one hand on the hip? Nobody. You walk with one hand on your hip? Rarely. Nobody does that. But one would never walk with one hand on the hip doing the Denzel Washington finger movie move that he does in every movie when he's pissed off. You know what I mean? They came after my wife, my wolf. Right? And he does the finger. He's got that finger thing going. Nobody does the Denzel Washington finger move while walking on the hip. And by the way, the photo looks stupid. All her photos, by the way, segue this, all her family photos look dumb. Why are they all never looking at the camera in the family photos? Has anybody put that together yet? You know, think about this too. These photos were shot before there was a cell phone camera. Well, a majority of them. And yet they always seem not to be looking in the camera. Okay? Don't forget, this was at a time that you had to get film developed and blah, blah, blah. So it was a pretty big deal to take a photo, right? Okay. Unless it was a Polaroid or something, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, so they shut her up here. Okay, so here we go. Let's go to the second one, Your Honor. Now, this is where it gets really weird. Okay, so not a lot of talking on the As Ever, on the As Ever page, but they put this one up, right? This horrible handwriting. But it's just noise. It's just like a waterfall and a bug flying around, right? They put this fake one up, okay? Allegedly fake. Now, the AI did the strap and the branch goes together. So something's wrong with the AI here, okay? And then everybody, right, myself included, picked out that everything is not ripe, but she is holding up the only ripe one. Makes no sense. This was also 5 days ago. Now, she's getting ready to drop the wine. Okay. This bucket looks AI, and I'll tell you why. AI throws in a bunch of bullshit that usually doesn't look right. Okay? Why would you have two handles here? Why would you have these handles in? Period. Do these look like handles that you would grab? How? These handles look like they would fit into something. This makes no sense for a wine bucket, if this is what this even is. It's very bizarre. This is fake as shit, okay? However, then you go into the ice bucket here, okay, with flour sprinkles on the ice. Why would that be necessary? You're not flavoring the ice, and the flavor from the flour sprinkles, if there is any, certainly as shit ain't gonna get through the glass of the bottle, okay? Makes no sense. Why'd they blur her out? Why would you blur out the star of the deal? Makes no sense. Doesn't even really look like her. I think Abigail Spencer and her, I don't know. Ledge, the dog Pula, who's never by this bitch, doesn't look like Pula. This looks more like a panther. Odd. 3 days ago, Rose joins the party tomorrow. All right. Now, this is the big crescendo here. You're selling, I mean, do they give this little of a shit? You're selling wine and that's the sales pitch of it? Sounds like people using one of the 16 bathrooms in the house. Does that make you think of anything like wine? No, it don't. It's bizarre, right? Then, here's the kicker. So she sold out. And there's a reason behind that. I'm not going to go into that right now. But here's the deal. They put this photo up. Now, it says, still stoking in the feeling endlessly grateful, blah, blah, blah. Now, don't forget, when she sold out the other time, she put a whole video together that I found the hole in her hair and all that jazz, the reflection in the camera, whatever. But she put, oh my God, I can't believe you guys saw I bought all my shit. It's unbelievable. Thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways. Silence. Dead silent. But the other thing was this. When I saw this photo, I was like, this shit looks familiar. Why does this look so familiar? She's wearing one bracelet. I'm like, this is not right. And sure as shit, Princess Carparkle right here, right? Shout out to my girl. She put it together using leftover pics from her people photo shoot, photos that are at least 5 months old to brag about overpriced wine scams such as typically phony pose. Bingo. Now, we go down here, okay? Now, I'm going to make this real quick. This is the article. Let me get back up here. This is the article, right? Now, look at this. So this was published on the March 3rd of 2025. But these photos, even the bigger scam kicker is these photos were taken by Jake, courtesy of Netflix. So does Netflix own these photos? Does Netflix own licensing to the Sharkle, the Markle? They were taken in 2024. So even though the article came out on the 3rd of March, okay, they're using B-roll or whatever the frick, or unpublished photos from actually 2024 to celebrate her huge win. Makes no sense. Why are they keeping her so silent? Another photo, same thing. Jake Rosenberg, by the way, Jake Rosenberg was instrumental in setting up, right even here, in 2014, while filming, look, right here, it even says, a natural extension. In 2014, while filming Suits in Toronto, she launched a TIG. Guess who helped her launch that? Jake Rosenberg. Guess when her fake persona started? 2014. Keep all that in mind. There's one more thing I want you to keep in mind, and then I'm done. This is another fake photo that they used here, which is totally, you can see, is all off. Allegedly, got to say that. But this is what I really want you to hang on to right here, okay? And then I'm done. I think all parents in this phase with kids the same age know it's rinse and repeat. That does not sound very motherly loving, right? She says if there's a time they'll, by the way, she's always so busy. I mean, her day is just jam-packed. It's just jam-packed, folks. It's just jam-packed. I mean, it's just meaning. About what? Nothing. She's got nothing going on. If there's a time, they'll catch up on TV together. We love shrinking. I don't know what that is. But this is what I want you to remember. We just finished Black Doves. Just put a pin in that because that's going to come up later, okay? And I want you to remember that I said Black Doves and that they were watching it, okay? Little teaser for you folks, little teaser. But hang on to Black Doves, all right? Now, the other thing I want you to hang on to is let me know your thoughts. And don't forget, who loves you, baby? All right, y'all be good. Have a great day.
Who loves you, baby? You're beautiful.